So, end of the semester, which is strange because it's sort of weird, right? The way that quarantine has worked, it's like time is both at a snail's pace, and simultaneously, it's like some of the fastest period, some of the fastest like I guess rate of time I've ever experienced, right? I felt like March took 30 years to end instead of I mean, how many are 30 days, 31 days? I do not know. And then April, it was just like I blinked and it was over. Um, okay, so let's start with the questions. What would I take away from the course as a whole? I had a bit of a foundation with some of these plays. I took a dramatic literature class in high school, and that means that we sort of spanned. I think we started as early as Everyman and like the Greek classics, and then ended up only I think around where we started in this class with a lot of the early plays, like Trifles. I think we might have ended around there, and now I have a way more nuanced perspective of the plays that I had read previously, and then I also have a newfound appreciation um, for, I mean, like, I guess American drama in general, right? Because Shakespeare is sort of course, heralded as the best of the best, but um, there's some real value in American drama. Um, I didn't love Death of a Salesman in high school. I really like it now, even though it's still too in your face about what it means. Um, but, I didn't get to read things like Harry Ape in high school, and I probably wouldn't have had the reaction that I did in college. I really connected with that play, and it was a really kind of exciting thing to have that so early. If anything, I sort of wish that we were at Waiting for Lefty. That seemed like it was interesting, especially with the having audience members as plants for the strike moment. But I'm glad to learn at least about it through that documentary that we watched early on. Um, how do the plays from the second half differ from the first? So, I mean, just got weirder, right? A little bit more avant garde, a little bit more postmodernist, which checks out. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I think also there was sort of a more positive outlook. A lot of early plays we read were sort of just dire and dark and about just the tragedy and of life and the fact that the American dream isn't real, right? All these other things. And then, like, when we started to, I think it was right around Raisin in the Sun that things began to pick up in tone. Raisin in the Sun is a heavy play, but at least kind of the characters do well in the end. Get the nice house, and it sort of works out. You imagine that the plant that the grandma brings is going to flourish in all the light that's going to be there. Um, After that, I mean, but then you still have things like Buried Child, which are still pretty dark and heavy, but weird, right? And I think that there's an excitement based off of um, this different sort of angle that these writers are working with because they're now playing against convention because it's already been so heavily established. Um, how was your experience working remote? Abysmal. I hated it. It was. This is probably my least favorite academic experience. Not this class specifically, just like in general, this whole stay at home, shelter in place form of remote learning is a nightmare on the soul, I think that there was just such a loss. I really was living in elegy this whole period. I'm a really extroverted guy. I like hanging out and, shooting the breeze. And there was such value in our group discussions. And I was so thrilled that we did the online optional class. I think it was really kind and understanding of people who just, if you needed to work on other stuff, you could. If you were an essential worker, right, maybe you needed to go to your job and that's easier for you. I mean, I really have to commend Dr. Barnes here for the absolute, I think, empathy that you employed, because this has been just such an awful experience for everybody, and I think you really poured your understanding and want to help and make things easier through the way that you structured the second half. By far, this class has been the most accommodating in the second half of this semester, and it has been a major boon for me personally. The reaction videos were just a revelation, where I felt so arrested when it came to writing anything. In the reaction video, I felt like I could pour out ideas and thoughts and points that I wanted to make, but just it didn't feel like actual work. While it still accomplished the goal of exemplifying the fact that I understood what the plays were about and allowed me to make points, and show that I had a understanding of the play, and not only an understanding, but was able to make arguments that it would make in a response paper or an essay. So that was really helpful. Yeah, I mean, just in general though, a lot of my other teachers, professors, they all just kind of piled on work. A lot of them were just well, here's more work because we don't really know what to do with you. So that, yeah, kind of blew chunks. So this was really nice that we had this. Advice for Professor Barnes for teaching this course in the future. I guess the only thing I would say is that if there's not a version of the play available to watch, maybe consider using a different play that does have a play that you can watch, because I think that there is something lost when you can't see a production. I know that I had that issue with Sincerity Forever, for sure, because that's just such a hard play to imagine. I think I would have had the same issue with Tom Paine Based on Nothing if not for the Rainn Wilson version. That was really great because it is such a weird play. I mean, you could kind of just, I don't know, even though there's not a lot of stuff going on in it, I think it would just be hard to imagine the tone. Even because it's tongue-in-cheek, but it's, so much is expressed through the way that Rainn Wilson delivers those lines. What worked well, what didn't work well in the second half, I think I touched on this already. The optional class was really great for me. I really looked forward to it every week. And the reaction videos were just so good. It really gave me the opportunity to show that I knew what was going on with the plays, show that I had been doing the reading, show that I'm trying, and so really, that was really great. Yeah, I think that this was such a good example of how professors should shift to remote learning. I hope that people don't have to in the future. I'm glad that I'm graduating, I guess, this semester in a weird way, because I hope that this doesn't continue. At least I just know that I won't have to deal with it. So yeah, a bummer to graduate like this. I'm not too psyched about that. It does feel sort of weird that I had my last day of classes, and it just felt like another day. And I came home, I just went downstairs. I just just went downstairs, and my parents were like, "How'd it go?" And I was like, "I don't know. I guess I'm kind of graduated now, or about to be, except for finals, but I don't know." Anyway, to my other graduating seniors, we did it, I guess. I think Warren said this in his video. Thank you, Warren. Yeah, I think graduating seniors, I know it's me, Keelan, Warren. I don't really know anybody else that's a graduating senior in the class. I know them for sure and me. But yeah. I'm going over time here. I really did love this class. Really both in the first half and in the second half. Thank you so much. I learned a great deal. All of your lectures were so incisive and informative, and it's really been one of my favorite classes I've taken at Ramapo, despite the shift into remote learning. Okay, thanks so much.